Yo, what's up? What's going on? What's good? That's right. The Midweek report is here, June 5th, 2024, man. We got a couple of things going on here in the sport of boxing. We getting ready for. Of course, we got this event that will be at the Hard Rock Live over in Hollywood, Florida, man. That is a pretty interesting event to say the least. When it comes to that fight card, of course, is headlined of sorts there by Adrien Broner and Blair the Flair Cobbs. That will take place there on Friday night. Of course, you got Adrien Broner there, multi-division world champion there out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Blair the Flair Cobbs, pretty much residing in Las Vegas, Nevada, but originally from Philadelphia. So you got this bout that is, what I'd say, scheduled for what it is about 10 rounds or whatnot. And it'll be in the welterweight division. There with Adrien Broner, of course, there with record of 35 wins, 4 losses, and 1 draw. Blair Cobbs with a record of 16 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw. And, they got, Adrien Broner there, putting him out there as a welterweight contender of sorts or whatnot. So they saying that, maybe he'll get back in the game and get himself back up to becoming a world champion or whatnot, like he did, talk about that a little bit with me a few weeks back, or pretty much actually it's been exactly a month ago, when I had a brief conversation with Adrien Broner over in Las Vegas there before, he had that Canelo versus Munguia fight. But, here, of course, the whole talk is about what happened in the press conference the other day, man, the final press conference that happened on Tuesday, man. And, that was the thing about it, is that you had Adrien Broner pretty much like going off there, on Blair Cobbs. And the thing about it is like, really, it wasn't really even necessary, or at least I felt like it wasn't necessary. I mean, a lot of fight fans that are out there, you're anticipating to see what's going to happen here with Adrien Broner, man. He, did have his fight last year against Bill Hutchinson there over in Miami, and where he was able to get a near shutout win against Bill Hutchinson in that particular fight. And that was his first fight in like over 2 years. And so here he is with another fight a full year later, going up against Blair Cobbs. And what we saw with Blair Cobbs, he had been building up his record up to being undefeated there until he ended up fighting Alexis Rocha, and then ended up getting stopped by Alexis Rocha there, and then turned around and got a quick win over Maurice Hooker a few months after his loss to Alexis Rocha. But from that Maurice Hooker fight, he ain't fought since. So this is going to be his first fight in about 2 years. That's crazy though. You would have somebody like Blair Cobbs that is flamboyant of sorts, and has his whole gimmick, Blair the Flair and everything like that, and wants to be in front of the camera and everything, and hasn't been able to get himself in line for a fight up until this point against Adrien Broner. So it's like, hey man, this is the first time in almost 2 years that Blair Cobbs has been in the ring. But now here he is against Adrien Broner, and this is like one of those instances where, hey man, I don't know. I mean, y'all could chime in or whatnot. If you're on the chat here in the live chat on YouTube, we're also on X right now. You know what I'm saying? This is something here with Adrien Broner that could be almost a similar situation of sorts there with Deontay Wilder, in that these guys have had success, a lot of success there in their professional careers. But they kind of like hit a wall of sorts going into the back half of their careers. And while we've seen what's happened with Deontay Wilder here, of course he's lost for 4 of his past 5 fights. But with Adrien Broner, I mean, shoot, he had losses to Mikey Garcia and Manny Pacquiao, but that was like years back. That was like a long time ago. It was just that, after his fight against Manny Pacquiao, you really ain't seen him in the ring, for a while until he fought Giovanni Santiago in 2021. And, we had like a, really subpar performance there against Giovanni Santiago there, where some kind of like felt like Santiago, got a good showing against Adrien Broner. And, after that particular fight, it was almost like, he said, there to Al Heyman or whatever it is for Showtime, he was like, give me one more chance or whatever it was. And then you didn't see him, like I said, until last year, going up against Bill Hutchinson. So, now it's like, okay, what were we going to see, out of here from Adrien Broner? And, for those that, have been following Adrien Broner here recently, like I said, I was able to see him last month there, after you had that Tank Davis versus Frank Martin press conference. And he was, there on the stage there with Tank Davis. He was, chopping it up with, a few of the folks in the media, including myself. But, the story coming out of that was, Adrien Broner has basically been there in the camp with Tank Davis. So you hadn't seen him with his, longtime trainer there, Kevin Cunningham. And so now he had been working with Coach Calvin Ford, Coach Kenny Ellis here preparing for this bout against Blair Cobbs. So, for me, I was looking at that like, okay, is he, kind of like changing things up? Is he, trying to, revamp and resurrect his career here at this particular point? And, I thought, from being in the camp perspective that Adrien Broner, was kind of seeing if he could turn a new leaf here, that he has a newfound focus of sorts. Of course, that's been the word attached to Adrien Broner's focus. But at least here, you could have seen that, he isn't, necessarily playing around as far as like, what is it like? Hanging out or doing, long nights in the clubs or all that type of stuff or whatever it is, or, having, as they say, fat camp, so to speak, or whatever it is. At least it doesn't seem like it here with Adrien Broner, right? And, I was looking to see how he would kind of approach this particular fight against Blair Cobbs. Some of y'all have probably seen the workout, that workout that they had there with Adrien Broner, out there first with Coach Calvin Ford and Coach Kenny. And also Blair Cobbs was, on there doing the workout too. But he just felt like, that, someone like a Blair Cobbs shouldn't really be in the ring with him. You know what I mean? But, now here we are a couple days, from the fight taking place over there in Hollywood, Florida, not that far from Miami, Florida. And, folks are talking about the whole press conference, man. And I'm like, what's going down with what he's talking about, what he's saying? I thought, he would be, something where, Adrien Broner, like, could talk trash. He's one of the, biggest trash talkers in the sport, right? But what he said, here in this particular press conference was like, yo, man, what's going on with all this? Like, this is, at least to me, man, that was kind of, way out as far as like what he was saying. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, where did he do that? So, man, I think, and I'm going to see if I could, try to pull it up here, man. I'm going to try to, fast forward up into, what he was talking about. But like, hopefully I could get to, that particular point. You know what I'm saying? Because it was, it was wild with what he was saying, man. Definitely wild with what he was saying. So I'm gonna see if I could, go ahead and pull that up here in a bit, man. But yeah, just at least he would have something in where he's, trying to, make the fight be, very, I guess, intriguing and interesting, as you say, when it comes to promoting the fight, because, Don King, I don't know what is he like 94, 95 years old or something. Man, I don't know, man. Like man, he needs some type of secondary representative for him because it's not like he's not like Bob Arum. We saw what Bob Arum did after that fight between Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall. Like Don King ain't I'm sorry, Don King ain't nowhere near that particular state. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the live chat on YouTube. Jay Pylon here in the building, man. Only in America, baby. Yeah, we can't even get that, man, because Don King looks like I'm for real, man. He looks like he be struggling to get through these sentences, man. Shout out to Juice in the building here on the live chat for the midweek report, man. Hey, he said, hey, Adrien Broner, you never know what to expect, but it's entertaining. Yeah, it is entertaining, man. I'm gonna see if I could. Yeah, I'm seeing if I could fast forward to the joint, man, and all this fair use stuff, man. I'm gonna see, what he talking about. So, you know, let's see here, man. Let me see if I could. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can pull it up, man. Cause yeah, this was like a whole little diatribe or whatever it was, man. I'm going through the joint there on Don King Productions website, man. But hold up though, I got my guy. It's on here live with us. Y'all know him. Everybody knows him. Here he is, the host, the distinguished host of Brunch Boxing. Okay, he's here to join us here to talk about what's going down here on the midweek report. It's our guy. MVO is in the building. What's happening with you, man? Let me see.
Bomb Squad, man. We still here. We still here. We on our way back. Listen, I know that everyone in the Bomb Squad is upset. We're hurt. We're confused because our fearless leader went down at the hands of Big Bang Jang. Some would say he got banged out. He got banged. He got banged by Big Bang Jang. But let me tell you something. The king is on his way back. Okay, it doesn't stop with Saturday's fight. He's going to be back. He's going to be back on top. We're just working through a few things, and then Deontay Wilder will be back where he belongs at the top of the heavyweight division.
Well, there we go. That is also, as y'all know, the president of the Deontay Wilder fan club there in MVO, and he just had his opening monologue there in reference to Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder, according to reports, or basically a specific report, at least for me, that he does have one more fight under the whole thing there with Turkey Al Sheikh. So we will see Deontay Wilder at least one more time. Despite what has been said or stated from, I guess, from his parents or a couple of fans and friends of his there. So he will at least have one more particular fight here. Just got to see what it'll be. We got to see what it'll be. Definitely ain't. Well, it's not going to be on August 3rd because folks are talking about Wilder facing Jared Anderson. Well, that ain't happening. Now Jared Anderson is facing Martin McCauley on August 3rd. So maybe it opens the door for Deontay Wilder to have another fight here at this particular point. At least one more. Hopefully it's not a huge test, man. Like it's not, one of these other top guys there in the heavyweight division. Like he needs, a couple of fights to, get himself warmed up, get himself, get his confidence back. Cause like these last two fights, you ain't seen that confidence from him at all. Like nowhere close. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens there with Deontay Wilder here in the future. But back in the whole joint, man, you got Jay Pylon giving his early prediction. He got Broner to win the fight there against Blair Cobbs. I mean, I'm kind of leaning towards it. I don't think that Blair Cobbs is kind of like what I say disciplined enough. I think he has spots where he's very erratic. with his offense, that he could be way off with his punches, and so that could give the opportunity there for Adrien Broner to take advantage. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Adrien Broner is a quote unquote economical fighter. Does have a lot of good tools as far as like speed or quickness, but of course he's not very active when it comes to punches or punches per round or whatever it is. He just tries to get you with ones and 1-2s. Like you don't see him throwing like 3 or 4 punch combinations like that. Like you haven't really seen him like that in a good little while, if at all. So him or Broner, trying to do that here in this particular fight, even with him, like I said, switching camps, going from Kevin Cunningham, over to, Coach Calvin Ford and Coach Kenny Ellis. You know what I'm saying? So, we'll see what that means. I mean, of course, he's there with Tank Davis, and he was the guy that kind of like brought along Tank Davis, when he became a pro, and they've basically been lockstep, for a long time. You've had Tank Davis be part of the cards there for Adrien Broner. So now it's like little brother helping big brother or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Big ups to those joining in here live right now. Talk Trends in the building. There he says, "Hey, remember that Broner only has losses to basically legends, something like that. Like he did lose to Manny Pacquiao. He did lose to Mikey Garcia. Did lose to Sean Porter. It had that thing there with Marcos Maidana. So those are his 4 losses. You know what I'm saying? Outside of that, like he ain't really lost to like nobody that's kind of like what I'd say B minus, C level or anybody like that. So yeah, you don't really see that there coming from Broner. Shout out to Adam Hurley in the building. He says he's going for Adrien Broner. He said Talk Trend says it personally thinks that Broner outclasses Blair Cobbs. You know what I'm saying? I think he outclasses him. Let me see, man. I don't know if my guy MVO will be on because he's out there. We be out and about, over there with the karaoke type stuff and hitting the bars and stuff like that. So that's probably why he can't really be on here for long. It said Jay Pylon says, "Hey, I won't be surprised if Broner knocks out Cobbs." Hey, man, I wouldn't be surprised either. I mean, Cobbs did have his loss where he basically had a standing KO loss to Alexis Rocha in 2022. But ever since then, he's only had 1 fight, and that was a unanimous decision there against Maurice Hooker, man. So he kind of like hasn't really been in the ring, so to speak, to kind of like really work on a few things. So that's the thing on his part. I'm gonna see here, man. I'm gonna try this thing to see if I could add this on, man. Hopefully, like I said, this is through Don King Productions or whatnot. So I'm gonna see if I could run this. Hopefully y'all are able to see it. You got Adrien Broner on there. Let me see if it goes through his little diatribe or whatever it is. So I'm gonna see if I can play it. Like I said, fair use. Come on, YouTube. Don't try to get on me for all this. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens with that. Yeah, man, the pro box is going down tonight. Vladimir Hernandez versus Guido Strom. So you do have that's going down. Adam Hurley, the Xander Zayas fight is on the Top Rank card on ESPN. You're gonna have Xander Zayas on there as the the feature or the main event. They're on that card that's in New York on Saturday, man. So you're definitely going to have him be kind of like be featured in that fight card. He's supposed to be fighting, I think it's like a former world champion on that joint, in Patrick Teixeira, right? So you're gonna have Xander Zayas versus Patrick Teixeira. on there. You're gonna have Bruce Carrington versus Brian DeGracia, on this thing. Also on that ESPN card, Jahai Tucker's gonna be on there. Tiger Johnson's gonna be on there. So that's what they got going down on that card on ESPN and ESPN Plus. But let me see here if I could run these comments from Adrien Broner there. So hopefully, like I said, fair use, man. This is on Don King Productions site, man. Hey, man, I tell you, man, if I get flagged, man, I ain't playing no more. I ain't playing no more clips, from other joints, man. So here we go.
All that playing and jokes and shit, I'm not playing, my nigga. I came alone and I'm willing to leave everything in that ring, and that's what I'm gonna do. And today I don't give a fuck what go on, so don't play no games, cause my niggas got guns with them, bro. And I'm dead serious, bro. And all I gotta do is point, and they gonna blow. And I'm dead serious, bro, nigga. And me and my nigga, we done already beat bodies, and they still looking for me. And every charge been acquitted, my nigga. So don't come up here playing. Don't make no false moves. I'm not playing. I'm not playing. I will smack the shit out you, my nigga. For real. I'm not playing. I'm not here to play. I'm not here to play no games. So we gonna promote the fight, but just be respectful. Don't do no dumb shit. And I'm serious, bro. For real, bro. I'm dead serious. Motherfucker shoot you in your shit. For real, bro. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. You ain't even about none of that. You ain't about none of that. You's a bitch, boy. You ain't about none of that. And I'm dead serious, and I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you June 7th, my nigga.
He's angry.
No, I ain't angry. I'm dead serious, boy. You's a bitch, boy.
You big mad.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, you could play. I ain't playing, boy. I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm gonna beat that shit off your nails, boy. You a fucking fag, boy. For real, bro. I'm dead serious. And I ain't here playing. I'm for real. I'm for real. And y'all gonna see that he's not on my level. He's nowhere near on my level. And I'm gonna show y'all, bro, that I'm still him. I'm still Himothy, bro. I'm not regular. I'm not one of these regular niggas. And I'm one of the special ones, Martin. And that's why I left a mark in this boxing game. And I'm gonna show why I'm still him, June 7th, bro.
Like, I mean, come on, y'all. Like, all that stuff that he was saying, before about, I got folks, bro, and I beat cases, and they'll knock you. Like, come on, we didn't really need all that. All he had to do, really, just being honest, is say, "Hey, man, I'm gonna just show that this guy ain't on my level." Oh yeah, that part too. I mean, he could at least do that. He could keep that. You know what I'm saying? Beat the paint off his nails. Or beat the hairdo out of him or something. I mean, I don't know, man. But all that other stuff, man, it was like, yo, like, what are we doing, man? What are we doing? Hey, listen, Jay. It's like it went from selling tickets to getting a penny case real quick. Hey, listen, hey, man. That's why you got to be careful. You got to be careful with all that, man. Because, hey, if they could talk about, folks saying that dudes could get cased up for rap lyrics, come on, something like this, man. Yeah, man, that's wild, bro. Like, yeah, man, I'm telling you, he's trying to incriminate himself. Like, well, man, what are you doing, man? What are you doing, bro? You know what I'm saying? Let me see if I can get back on this. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, man, it's like, yeah, that joint is crazy. That was just absolutely crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need to talk about all that, going into this bout here against Blair Cobbs. Like I said, I mean, you were former, 4 division world champion. You know what I'm saying? Like, Blair Cobbs ain't been nowhere near that type of level. So it's like, hey, I face these guys, man. I done fought Manny Pacquiao. Y'all know I beat that boy. You fought Mikey Garcia, you fought Marcos Maidana, you faced a lot of those guys, man. Hey, big ups to my guy, man, KQKC Boxing Network in the building. The singing OG is in the building with checking us out on the midweek report, man. Props to you there, brother KQKC, man, being on here. I know I pretty much like figured that you might have a live, show there for that upcoming bout there with Broner and Cobbs. So y'all check them out. You'll probably have something going down during that fight. So we'll be able to get things going on, man. Yeah, he said, hey, they got 34 charges on a billionaire because he had an affair. What do you think they come up with AB? Yeah, I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like all of these comments here from Adrien Broner yesterday, like we didn't necessarily need all that, we'll see what happens here coming up with the weigh-in that's supposed to be tomorrow. Of course, you got the fight that will be on what is it? Well, you got it on Don King and on Triller. I think it's supposed to be on Triller on Friday. So that's going to be a real interesting fight on a pretty stacked fight card, man. They got a good amount of fights on this thing, man. They got a good amount of fights on here. Like if I was I didn't say I would try to get out there to Miami and go over to Hollywood for this, but there's a lot of fights on this joint, man. You got like former champions there. Junior Durticos on this thing. You got Michael Hunter versus Cassius Chaney on there in the heavyweight division. That's going to be a pretty interesting bout there in the heavyweight division there with Michael Hunter and Cassius Chaney. I think you're supposed to have some other fight, man. I forgot. I think they scrapped the whole fight. They were supposed to be Yoel McClellan or somebody like that was supposed to be on that card too. But I think that kind of like got scrapped up too. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, back on this thing here with Broner and Cobbs, man. I'm like, like you could have multiple ways that you could sell this particular fight without saying all that stuff that Adrien Broner was saying. You know what I mean? And even with all that, if y'all seen the face off, man, the face off was looking mad weird, Like I'm like, how you have a face off, between these two, and like one person is like in front of the table and the other one is behind the table or whatever it is, and man, it was, man, I don't know, dog. It was just completely weird. How they did the whole thing with the face off, bro. But I'm like, come on, y'all. Like, what are we doing, y'all? What are we doing? But that being said, we'll see how these two guys perform here in this particular fight, because I feel like it's something where if Broner don't get through this, it's a wrap. It's a wrap for him, bro. It's a wrap for him. Like, I mean, listen, he does have the name, you know what I'm saying, and everything like that. And he might have been up and down as far as like where he's been at in his professional career. But Blair Cobbs, I mean, Blair Cobbs is as good as where he was, when he fought and ended up losing to Alexis Rocha. You know what I'm saying? That one right there, like, we saw what happened with Alexis Rocha too. Like, Rocha got himself, stopped by Giovanni Santillan last year, and we just saw what happened to Giovanni Santillan to Brian Norman Jr. He got busted up by Brian Norman Jr. So that kind of like gives you an idea of where Blair Cobbs is right now, pretty much in the welterweight division. And if Adrien Broner is supposed to be, they're kind of like seeing if he wants to compete and become a world title contender and then a world champion there at 147, he's got to be able to get right, go past Blair Cobbs with no issues at all. But we still have to be able to see it. We got to be able to see it, because Broner, has had, those instances where he'll have lapses in activity as far as like actually having a fight or there being in the ring. So we got to see how he performs here at this particular point. Like if he wants to, kind of like say make some noise in the welterweight division, then he should be able to just take out Blair Cobbs within 4 or 5 rounds. He should be able to do that. But if he's not able to do that, then especially if he has like a lot of trouble here against Blair Cobbs, and oh man, like I don't even want to think about it if he loses to Blair Cobbs. If he loses to Blair Cobbs, bro, that could be something, man, bro. You know what I mean? So we gotta see like how this is gonna turn out, for this fight, on Friday. So I mean, I'm pretty much like anticipating to see if Broner could get through this particular bout. I don't know. I think that him being there with Don King Promotions, that's kind of like he'll only get as far as he can. This is like who was the guy? Vermont Stavern, right? That's like y'all know Vermont Stavern, of course, former WBC heavyweight champion. Defeating Chris Arreola to become WBC heavyweight champion before his first defense against Deontay Wilder, where he ended up, losing by wide decision for that, and he hadn't been able to, get back to that level. You know what I'm saying? And after that, being on Don King, we see what happened with that. But here, I think with Broner being there with Don King, man, it's like there's only so much that you can go. You know what I'm saying? Hold up real quick on the conversation, man. He said Austin Trout coming back to box. Well, at least he he got that thing there with the bare knuckle, man. Like he had that one fight on bare knuckle where he pretty much like watched the dude that was supposed to be the top guy in that particular division. He basically just schooled him. So hopefully he's able to get back with another fight there on that the BKFC or something like that. So I'll be able to try to check on that. Also you got like news of Daniel Jacobs that'll be back in the ring. Daniel Jacobs will be back in the ring. He's going up against Shane Mosley Jr. In July. So we'll see that, man. What is that? Adrien Broner will be his opponent. I think. Well, I guess that's there on that BKFC. So yeah, I think he's gonna be able to watch him or whatever it is. Now I did have a conversation there with Austin Trout was like a few weeks back. They're on the War Week boxing channel, so y'all be able to go on War Week boxing and look for that. So we were on there for that, man. Shout to Matt Gomez here in the building. He says, what's happening? Subriel Matias would be good for a tough man contest. I guess so, man. Big ups for everyone that's listening live here once again on YouTube and on X. If y'all can just hit the like button to support the boxing source, whether it's on X or YouTube. We appreciate the support here, and we got the live chat that's going on here through YouTube. So if you can, you'll be able to go through YouTube on this. Seeing if we got something going on live here, man. Let's see if it could jump on to talk about a couple of these topics here. Our great guest here on the Boxing Source, is the Boxing Academic, man. What's going on?
Hey, much. How you doing tonight, JR?
Doing good, man. Doing good. You got some action here in boxing going on. Today, of course, with the pro box, but the lead thing is Adrien Broner versus Blair Cobbs going on Friday night, man. And he had his tirade yesterday, man. If you're able to see that, like, do you have like any thoughts on what was going down with it?
So I'm gonna say this is the pot calling the tea kettle black when I say this comment, because I think that when you're in the environment and you're talking to people that you're familiar with or familiar enough with, you get very casual in your conversation. Meaning by saying, the N-word and stuff, we said, obviously, that's just it is a part of the lingo and how we use it. But obviously, we don't say it when in certain audiences or we mind ourselves when we say it. But I'm guilty of it myself. And I'm only thing I'm saying is that, when you are on a public stage, which this is a public stage. So again, it's the pot calling the tea kettle black, but it looks sort of distasteful when you do it on a big stage and everybody's sort of looking.
Yeah.
And again, I can't point my finger because there's 3 fingers pointing back at me, right? But it just looks distasteful when mixed company is seeing you do it. I get he's emotional, he's in the moment, but it just, people will never take him serious because of stuff like that. And like the other stuff where he like, I'm from the hood, they'll come get you if I tell them to come get you. Now that stuff is like, come on, Broner.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
like you wasn't a millionaire if you're not still a millionaire. You are a millionaire. You telling me that you allowing yourself to be around that type of company that'll bring you down. Like, I get it. They there for you. You grew up with them, but you made it to a certain point for your family for a reason to not be involved in stuff like that. And obviously he probably more so doing it to just pump his chest because that's probably what he used to saying in those moments, which speaks to another thing, like the small dog barking. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying he a small dog because, I done been to 3 Broner fights. You know what I'm saying? I supported Broner pretty heavy, especially when he was coming up, when his tickets were more affordable. But it just looks distasteful. And, I support Broner. I want Broner to do well. And people will just only take him so serious, or he won't get the benefit of the doubt when it comes to tight matches because of this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he ain't gonna get denied if he have a close fight with Blair Cobbs because he's acting like that.
Yeah, I feel you. And you had that thing with your comment about, having that type of language around, certain people. It kind of like reminded me of what it was like the press conference or whatever it was with Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. And you had a whole bunch of folks in the crowd talking, while Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford were talking. And think like somebody that was, there around for Errol Spence or whatever it was talking to Terrence Crawford, and then you see, Terrence Crawford like go off on that dude, particularly and pretty much like had that same type of lingo, you know what I mean? But it kind of like seems like it's like, not necessary, or it's like, you don't really need to do that or anything. And it just doesn't, look right. And so here with what Adrien Broner was saying, like, I'm like, why do you need to say all that?
Yeah, why?
What's the point of all that?
Does that intimidate him? Because you're gonna fight him in the ring, and if you do something like that, you'll never box again. The people who ever help you do something stupid, they're gonna get put away. Like what's the point? Like, really? Other than to stick out your chest. Because I don't think it does not, it don't make Blair Cobb feel scared, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because who in their right mind finna do something like that and they got all these eyes watching them and you said it publicly? Who's that stupid? I'm sure there are people stupid enough to do that, right? But they start making a little money. Let's say he giving them money. Who's that like thick-headed to do something like that?
Yeah, I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. Yeah, man. Jay, yeah, like I said, that press conference, like, yeah, the fans were getting ugly, man, on both sides. And then you had the whole thing with Terrence Crawford said, "Hey, I get active," and then he just went off on a dude that was saying stuff to him. So you see what happened with that. Big ups for of course, another one of our great guests here on the Boxing Source joining in. His brother Terrell in the building. The chef is there, man. What's going on with you, man?
Hey, what's up, everybody? And once again, Mike, welcome to Boxing Twitter.
Appreciate it, Terrell. Appreciate it, Terrell. Thank you for welcoming me like 5 times. Man, you know, I only really talk for real when, JR like say something and then I'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. And then, I get to talking. But yeah, well, it looks like, I know you may have not said this, but it looks like Wilder's still going to continue fighting.
Yeah, we did have a short segment with the president of the Deontay Wilder fan club, MVO, who did, have his monologue in reference to Deontay Wilder. And yes, the, reports are that Wilder does have at least one more fight that he will have. So we'll see what that next fight will be here, I guess, in the near future.
The beautiful thing about the way that the fight ended, if you're going to get knocked out, those are one of the knockouts that you would prefer, as opposed to getting bludgeoned for 8-9 rounds against Tyson Fury.
Right. Yeah.
In each of them other 2 rounds, like other 2 fights, you would rather get clipped and then, knocked out. But the thing is, neurologically, something ain't right with Wilder. For him to get touched every time, and then for his faculties to go elsewhere every time he get touched, and it's not with hard shots.
Mm-hmm.
I want my brother to, think about that and, and just get your money, man, but don't do it for too much longer. Enjoy your family, act, do whatever you need to do, get into the other realms, get back into ashwagandha or whatever you need to do, man. And, conquer whatever demons you need to conquer. But it's just, only he know it. We speculating, but
yeah,
people saw it with Muhammad Ali. You could see those sort of reactions.
Mm-hmm.
And Wilder don't behave well with seemingly, low tier to medium punches.
Yeah, like he was reacting to everything basically that this lady saying was throwing at him. And when we like I was saying on Sunday, when you have an instance where it's like you cringe before a punch comes to you.
Yeah, PTSD.
That's really something now. Adam Hurley says the thing with Wilder. He says Wilder should fight Ngannou. He could knock him out. Some people may have brought up Francis Ngannou as a possible or potential opponent there for Deontay Wilder. But I got to check something with Francis Ngannou because I think he's supposed to have a MMA fight coming up. So
if Wilder don't throw no punches, he can't knock Ngannou out.
Right. We got to see what he's gonna do here at this point.
Hey, Shell, stop cracking them crab shells now.
But hey, just to get back to what you guys were talking about with Broner. I mean, in this long line of hilarious, entertaining, appalling press conferences that we've had in the sport of boxing, going back to Lennox Lewis, who did Tyson fight? Which says I'm gonna eat your kids, all this stuff, whatever. Who's that?
Oh, well, that was before the Lennox Lewis fight was where he was saying that.
Yeah, but he said Lennox ain't no conqueror. I'm a conqueror. He was just alluding to him.
Yeah. But we've seen so much appalling behavior in press conferences that's now second nature to boxing. I mean, but for Broner to get up there and talk about all the bodies that him and his crew have dropped and they never got caught. I mean, I'm not even sure if I can even be surprised at the stuff that we hear now in press conferences and things like that, from the face-offs to even a couple years ago when Tank pushed Ryan off the platform. Rolly pushed pushed Ryan off the platform. I mean, which could have jeopardized the fight, which is crazy. So once again, appalling behavior is second nature to boxing, and the press conferences and stuff like that. I mean, with Broner. To me, he's a sad case. He's a sad case. I mean, yeah, you come from the inner city. I get that. You made it to a certain level. You made good money. You wasted a lot of money to the point. Remember, he was back in that. Remember, who was that? He's I forgot who was fighting. He's in Vegas, flushing $100 bills down the toilet.
Yeah.
So that once again, appalling behavior is second nature to boxing. sad to say, but that's the nature of the sport, though. So in a
Yeah.
sport that's widely unregulated in a sense. So, I mean, but once again, claiming that you kill people, things like that, and poor old Don King still hanging hanging on in the background, just listening. And and honestly, a lot of the behavior came from Don King. We look at Don King from back in the day on his big speeches and stuff like that that he got famous for. But
Yep.
Broner is just sad case. I don't. It's sad. It's sad.
This nigga got to know. He'll hear me calling the pot tea kettle black, but this nigga got to know that all these rappers who paint a story in their songs, which is as fake as can be, are getting indicted over the words that they use. They use those words against people.
Yep.
And let Broner get in any twisted situation. They're going to use this against him. My brother got to do better than that.
Yeah.
And to say this on an open platform, even though you can come back and be like, I was lying, man, they're going to use this against you. Don't ever say that.
And keep in mind that even though this is not a major fight, it's a mid-level fight for both these guys, for Broner and Blair Cobbs, whatever, right? Broner has not had a platform on this level in quite some time. So I'm sure he has a whole lot to say and get off his chest, as we see now. He has not been relevant. And
that's a good point. That's a good point, Terrell. That's a great point.
Yeah. I mean, like, like I said, this is, his first, fight in a year's time. And I was saying there with the last one that he had against Bill Hutchinson, that was, last June, basically. Here we are. I mean, I'll go back to, that last year, like when they even had like the supposed like press conference, right? And that was supposed to be April, what was that, April 20th or whatever it was, there over in Las Vegas. And Adrien Broner didn't show up to that press conference. It was only like Bill Hutchinson that was there. You know what I'm saying? So it was like a whole crazy situation there with Broner at that particular time. And then, now it's like, okay, is he serious? Is he not? Or whatever it is, man. And like, it's like he's giving people like thoughts of like, if they're not sure, like they're not sure about what's going down with them. I wanted to see if I could pull, what I was talking with him about, because I only had like, a couple of minutes, when I chopped it up with him. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Yeah, this is only like pretty much like a minute when I was talking with them last month. So here it was there real quick.
If you want to comment on the whole Rangers hit Devin Haney.
Real quick.
Nobody slipped him nothing, but I don't believe that he took anything.
Hey, so you got that upcoming fight with Blair Cobbs, man. That you looking bright. So what are you looking to like show the people when you go up there against Blair the Flip?
That I'm back serious with boxing, and I'm coming to become another world champion, 5-time world champion.
Now, I know you have this thing. You're getting ready for camp. You said 5-time world champion. I know that you're like ranked there in 147 and whatnot. So after this fight, what do you think about potential fights against like a Conor Ben or maybe Boots Ennis or anything like that?
Right now, man, my main focus is Blair Cobbs. So, we got to take boxing one fight at a time, and that's my main focus right now.
Now, what do you think is like the biggest thing that you're working on here in this camp while you prepare for Blair Cobbs?
I'm working on a lot of shit. Just don't miss June 7th.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. Quick Hit said, the problem, AB the Can Man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, that's it. That was it with him, man. But like you even seen then, like he was, we kind of like gave his answers there straight up, straightforward. You know what I mean? And he didn't have to, be boisterous and flamboyant or anything like that. But now you see what's going down here in this joint, and he's like, man, it's almost like he became unhinged. You feel me?
Well, I mean, JR, you're not a repulsive type of black guy. You know what I'm saying? You're a pretty pretty safe, you know what I'm saying, easy in the middle guy. So people are comfortable with you. So that's the energy you give off. But it's
Jared,
something that,
did he just question your street cred?
man, I ain't questioning nobody's street cred. I'm saying that the energy that he gives off is a comfortable energy for a black person. People feel comfortable around JR. That's what it is. So that's the energy that was reflected. But something about Blair, it makes him it it makes it's something about Blair that makes him feel something. I don't want to say whatever
Mm.
word, but it's something about the energy of Blair that make him feel some.
It makes him like, yeah, act that way. I guess. I mean, I don't know, but it was like I was saying earlier, like, you know, he has those comments about, hey man, you know, I got these guys with me, you know, the ride or die, and hey, I have them shoot, and I'm like, dude, you don't need to do that. You can just say, hey, listen, I'm on my way to become, you know, 5-time world champion, and this guy ain't even on the same league with me. He ain't on the same level with me. And he said, like, hey, this dude ain't even on the same level with me. That's all he needed to say. He didn't need to, you know, add in all that other stuff. You know, that kind of like is, you know, that kind of like it almost like gives me the idea that he hasn't really, you know, changed from where he's trying to get away from. That's what it's giving me. Just being honest, you know.
Well, I'll say, as a resident, quote unquote, old man of the boxing source, who has seen different generations, just as you guys have too. When I look at Blair Cobbs, right? Blair Cobbs is almost the epitome of this generation. Just kind of odd in a sense, where a man wearing fingernail polish and stuff like that, which Broner pointed out, things like that. He's just an oddball. It is what it is, right? And then you move on to Broner, who once again is a product of this generation, right? Fighter, turned rapper, turned thug, turned all kind of other stuff, and basically in a sense trying to be something that it's not to be, trying to do it for the city, do it for his people. You
For the
doing
whole hood.
yeah, yeah, doing way too much. I mean, where? How long ago were we back in the entertainment days when AB was in the ring and his father brushed his hair? How long? That seems so long ago. And this guy, the AB that we have now, is so far from that. So far from the entertainment aspect. And now we know that he's been rapping and stuff like that, and associated with rappers and this whole hip hop world and thugging. He basically he want to be thugging now. That's all, you know. But it's once again, welcome to boxing.
Well, I mean, you have that, and then you have, like, you know, the stuff that he does on social media, and you know, one of the things that kind of like stood out was like his comments in reference to Alicia Baumgartner. That was, you know, wow, you don't put that out, something like that out there, like a public platform like that. That, you know, that's crazy, especially, you know, call it out by name. So it's, you know, that, you know, kind of like was really, really off the wall. And if you trying to, you know, get to a point where you say, hey man, you want to be a legend in this boxing game, and that you want to, like, say for example, be kind of like mentioned amongst those that could be in the Hall of Fame or whatever it is, then you want to kind of like get to that particular point and be serious about that. But it's almost like he's not giving those type of vibes, you know, in a sense, when he's doing, you know, what he was doing, you know, the other day. You feel me? So it's like, okay, you're there. Actually, what is he, man? He's like 34. He's at 34 right now. So as a 34-year-old fighter, like what are you going to be able to do to kind of like reestablish your career to like say, for example, if you're going to be fighting until 36, 37, are you going to be able to challenge for a world title again?
Beat young loudmouth up and comers, and at some point, you know, you become a gatekeeper because Father Time is undefeated. But up until this point, he got a chance to, you know, beat a young loudmouth and be like, hey, get me a good fight. Somebody said between him and Boots, nah, he you know, it's a certain level of fighter that Broner need to fight at this point. And they would be essentially feeding him the Boots.
Yeah.
But even like you mentioned, the Conor Ben, that would be a great fight because at this point, Conor Ben is a good name, right? And AB, he just needs once again, he needs a platform. So they're perfect for each other right now. Perfect.
But is he? Do you think he gonna get close to winning the fight? Because he don't throw enough punches.
Well, I mean, we're gonna see what we have here real soon on our hands now. You know, so
Does
Yeah,
Blair throw a bunch of punches?
we're gonna see what's up here in a couple of days, man. You know, when we see Adrien Broner here against Blair Cobbs and how he's able to perform at that particular point of his career.
Does Blair throw a bunch of punches?
Nah, man, it don't look like it to me, man. Like
no, he's a decent B-level fighter, but in this fight, I think we're gonna see a lot of vitriol spoil out in the ring. So that refs is definitely gonna be active in this fight for the referee.
Yeah.
See a lot of what?
So I think the referee will definitely be active in this fight. There's gonna be a lot of this probably fouls and stuff like that, just bad behavior in the ring. That's what I expect.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, we could see something like that. Like I that wouldn't surprise me. That wouldn't surprise me at all if we had something like that where you have like some fouls or holding and roughhouse and that type of stuff. Man, we could see that in this bout with Blair Cobbs and Adrien Broner. So that remains to be seen, man. Adam Hurley says a Boots versus Conor Ben is a great fight. Actually, Ben is underrated. Well, real quick, speaking of the thing with Boots Ennis, man, we had that news yesterday in reference to Cody Crowley. He was not cleared to fight against Boots Ennis. That's supposed to be July 13th, due to his eye. He's had like eye issues there for the past, few months or whatever it is. So they said, hey, man, they did another check and they didn't clear him. So as far as like Cody Crowley, he's out for that bout against Boots Ennis. So Boots is looking for an opponent there for July 13th. And my thing is, I think they're leaning towards Gabriel Valenzuela there, who's on the IBF rankings for that. Not that many people probably wouldn't be familiar with them, but just to be honest, the IBF rankings usually don't have that many recognizable people on them. So outside of Cody Crowley and maybe a couple of other people that are on there, Errol Spence is on the rankings there at number 5, but of course he ain't gonna be fighting at 147. And they ain't gonna have, and I don't think they're gonna have Boots fighting Kieran Chukadzian or Roman Villa again. Like that ain't happening, So that's why I say, man, it might as well be Gabriel Valenzuela on there, or maybe David Abansian. But I say it's Gabriel Valenzuela. That'll end up being the replacement opponent there for him.
So I guess they'll have no other usually in a good card they'll have someone in that same weight class on the undercard that could probably step in for the main event. So
But yeah, they ain't gonna do that though. I don't see that. I don't see that happening. I know that we got our guy Jalil Hackett that is part of that fight card there against Peter Dobson. Like they're not gonna put in Pete Dobson as the replacement opponent there for Cody Crowley. That like they ain't gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? So they'll probably pull up, like I said, Gabriel Valenzuela. Some folks mentioned like a Jin Sasaki. Like they ain't gonna pay like Jin Sasaki to come over from Japan to have this fight here on 5.5 weeks notice. Like I don't see that happening. Like I don't see it happening either. So definitely we'll look forward to seeing who they come up with as an opponent there for Boots Ennis, because like they sold a good amount of tickets for that fight for July 13th. So they can't. I don't see them scrapping that fight or that fight date. Like, yeah, I don't see that happening. So yeah, just be on the lookout for the announcement or an announcement on who Boots' opponents will it be. Because Boots basically said like on Twitter the other day, like he said, "Hey, he's still having a fight there, you know, on July 13th. So they're you know actively looking for an opponent for that one, man. You know, next up, you know, you got, you know, of course, what's coming up next Saturday, Tank Davis versus Frank Martin, WBA championship at 135 pounds. They'll be on Las Vegas. You know, they recently had an interview with Frank Martin that also had Errol Spence Jr. on there. You know, Errol Spence Jr. is, you know, the lead promoter for Frank Martin. Of course, it's like interesting because, you know, he promotes Frank Martin, and Frank Martin is trained by Derek James, and Derek James and Errol Spence still had that little spat as far as like, you know, what happened with the Terrence Crawford fight. But you know, both of them are on there, and you know, of course, Errol Spence, you know, being the promoter that he is, says that, you know, Frank Martin is like a whole different fighter that Tank Davis has faced over the course of his professional career, and that, you know, he feels like the level of power and the level of speed is something that Tank won't be able to, you know, constantly deal with over the course of 12 rounds. And you know, of course, that, you know, got some responses there from, at least with the like promoter there, CEO of Mayweather Promotions. I think he's still the CEO. Leonard Ellaby, he said, you know, on the Twitter that he responds. He says that Frank is a very good fighter, but Frank ain't dominating shit. He says if they think Tank is going to give rounds away, it's crazy. He says that every fight and opponent is a different approach. Errol Spence, what do you say, man? Hold up, I'll share the joint here real quick. Let me see if I can do that here, because I got that joint on the page, man. Yeah, hold up. Let me see if I could go ahead and expand this joint here. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, I'll run it there real quick. Big ups to shout out to everyone that's listening live on the Twitter and the YouTube, man. Like I said, be sure to hit the like button if you support the Boxing Source. You hit us up with the donations, as Dr. Ubar says, or whatever it is, support the movement. Well, here it goes. Here, what they got? Errol Spence saying that, "Hey, I ain't trying to hear that shit. Hey, what you saying is vice versa. Tank ain't never faced what he's facing on June 15th either." You know, and that's pretty much been what I kind of like been saying is that, you know, this is a real. I feel like it's a really intriguing fight. I know that there's some that, you know, want to downplay it there with with Frank Martin, because you got him at like 18-0. He's kind of he kind of started late when it came to the boxing game. In comparison to Tank Davis has been boxing since he was like 6 years old. You know what I'm saying? So it looks like for this particular matchup, like it's not like Tank Davis has been really doing stuff outside of the gym and everything like that. Like he's fully focused on developing what he needs to do here against Frank Martin. So that's why it's like a number of people are really heavily favoring Tank Davis for this particular fight. But I mean, this is something where him at 5'5" going up against Frank Martin at 5'8". So we got to see how he's gonna be able to work with this. It's Southpaw versus Southpaw in this matchup too. So I'd like to see like how Tank Davis works with the fellow Southpaw that has the credentials, so to speak, that Frank Martin has. So I'm really intrigued by this fight coming up here in Las Vegas, man. Brother Terrell, what's your thoughts on this here? Going into what's going on next Saturday.
Yeah, I would definitely preface this by once again going back to our show at the end of last year. I said that Frank Martin's gonna be the breakout fighter, and he's gonna show us why, right? So real quick, I want you guys to think about this. Who is Tank's best opponent? That's something we talked about before. Who is Tank's best opponent?
Man, You know what? I'm glad. I'm glad that show is not on here right now because he would get on me about it.
Oh yeah,
'Cause
definitely.
I told him that Tank's best opponent was Hector Luis Garcia there at the time, and we see what happened there with Hector Luis Garcia, at least with his latest performance against Lamont Rhodes Jr. So now you probably would have to. You might say either Isak Cruz, given what he's done here so far, or Mario Barrios, given him being right now the WBC interim champion of 147 pounds.
Yeah.
Dang, you don't say Ryan Garcia
Now,
No,
not right now.
because Cruz will beat Garcia.
No, I think
Ooh.
that
That would be a good fight.
Yeah, I think what's my man name? Mexican guy that Tank knocked out with the uppercut. What's the name?
Leo Santa Cruz.
Yeah. I think that's Tank's third best opponent, right? No, once again, I know that Frank Martin is unproven. I know that. I know he hasn't faced the top level of opposition. I know that, but what's that word we use in basketball? He has great potential. And when I say that, I'm talking about speed, power, command and control, out of position, not out of position, doesn't foul wild, things like that, and adaptability. I think this could be Tank's best opponent, but yet we do. I do. Yes, I want to get ahead of myself. I know we have to see the fight. That's why they fight the fights.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know Tank is fighting some solid people that's gone on to do some good stuff, like you mentioned, Barrios, Pitbull, things like that. But style-wise, I mean, Frank to me is right there. And everyone I talked to about this fight, everyone has picked Tank. I get it. He has power. He has real power. I get that. But to me, it's just something that I think Frank Martin has that it factor. And once again, we know we have to go and get in the ring and see the fight. I know he has faced the top level, but this is his chance. And as we say in boxing, he's going to answer so many questions that we're anxious to see. Definitely.
Yeah. And Paul, you had something there, Box Academic?
Yeah, my only thing is these last maybe 6 or 7 fights that we've seen where we projected how we think things will go. Frank Martin get hit clean, and Frank Martin will get hit clean in that fight. So that's the biggest qualm that I have about that I've learned about 2-3 fights over this past year. The people who we project got big punches and the other person got to stay away from it. Somebody gonna get hit clean and then it affects the fight. He gonna have a moment, Frank Martin, where he gonna have to survive a whirlwind and that's gonna decide the fight. If he get past it, like regain his composure and box and keep him on the outside, maybe, but he's gonna have a moment where he gonna have to get past some storms, or at least one storm, but probably a few storms, because he gonna get hit clean and he very well likely will get hurt. And how does he respond? That's to your point, Terrell, that we have to see that question answered.
Now, he got something from Adam Hurley. He says, you got to consider that Frank Martin is a live dog because he's undefeated and he's a very big lightweight. I mean, some could say that, but I'm on DraftKings right now, and they have Tank Davis as a minus 700, favorite, like 7-1, and Frank Martin at plus 450. That's like the same odds for David Benavidez against Alexander Gvozdyk, or even the whole thing with Subriel Matias versus Liam Powell. That's on the same day. They basically had the same odds in favor of Subriel Matias over Liam Powell. So like minus 700, yeah, I'm like, ooh, that's pretty sizable thing there. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing, man.
Yeah, and once again, and look back to Tank Ryan Garcia, right? And that leaded to that fight in the press conference. I'm not even sure if Tank actually knew something that was going on in Ryan's camp, things like that. But when you look forward to the press conference between Martin and Tank is kind of throwing out pointers. I know what you do. I know what you're gonna do. I know what you're gonna do. I mean, of course, like we know there's definitely spots in camp, and camps definitely watch each other to find out any advance that they get. But bottom line, despite all the shit talking, you gotta get your ass in the ring and perform, and be able to use the knowledge that you have gained in the lead up to the fight. So this is a highly, highly interesting fight, very much so. But like I said, once again, this is Frank Martin's time, and just watch.
Yeah. Now I know one person that most likely is not a spy in the camp there for Frank Martin there, and that's Elijah Pierce. Definitely is not a spy in the camp there because there's nothing, and he'll tell you here's nothing that he'll pretty much disclose to Tank Davis. They still have some type of history there between them two from a sparring session that was from 10 years ago when people are still talking about it. So, that's the thing with that one, man. He said, Matt Gomez here says that he's seen Tank use the middle of the ring, the corners, the ropes. Says that he feels like Gavante there's ringmaster. You hear the chef chopping up stuff here right now, too. Adam Hurley says, hey, who do you guys think is Tank's biggest threat? He feels like it's William Zepeda. And at lightweight right now, I think it's Shakur Stevenson. Given what's been going on, at least between those two camps and how those two camps kind of like talk about each other, I feel like it's Shakur Stevenson. So I think that will be Tank's biggest or might end up being his toughest fight if it's not this one coming up against Frank Martin, because at least for me, I thought going into this that Frank Martin was going to pose a unique challenge there for Tank Davis. With like I said, with him being a southpaw along with Tank, and him having the the level of speed and kind of like the offensive precision that he has. It's just like Boxer Academic said, maybe he does have to work on the thing there with his defense. And, we kind of like seen him have like a high moment when he fought Michelle Rivera on December 2022. And then he had, some issues there to a certain point against Artem Harutyunyan until like those last couple of rounds there. So we got to see how, Frank Martin, responds to being in this like high level fight against Tank Davis. Feel me?
I would agree with you and say Shakur as well, because if anybody, like Shakur does get hit sometimes, but he don't get hit like super flush. Like he can go in a fight and play prevent defense and land 10, 12 punches and you not touch him, and he, what people say, run or ring general shit, whatever, however you want to call it. But I think he could play prevent defense and still land 10, 12 punches and it be a boring fight, but then he just outboxed Tank for 12 rounds. And the biggest thing is will Tank be able to catch up with him, corner him in the ring and hit him, And I think he could, fight and be a do the whole Matador thing. I think he could do that. The bull and the Matador. I think he could do that for 12 rounds and frustrate Tank.
Mm-hmm. Like the thing about it is that they, folks like they criticize Shakur in reference to his bout that he had against Edwin De Los Santos. But if anything, I would like point to his performance that he had against Oscar Valdez. As far as like what he would be able to do as far as like mixing up offense and defense, because he was at least a little bit more active and very efficient there with his offense against Oscar Valdez in that particular fight there, and was able to pretty much like outclass Oscar Valdez through 12 rounds there. But of course with Tank Davis being much more skilled there than Oscar Valdez, will be really interesting to see how Shakur would kind of like deal with, the danger that Tank Davis has, because he could, pretty much hurt you with like any punch almost. Like I said, him having 29 wins and 27 of those wins by way of stoppage. Yeah, that's something that you have to deal with at any point of the fight. So you do that what you want.
Yeah, that's a great point you made about Shakur Valdez, how he was able to basically take him out of that fight. I really look back at the fight when Shakur was at 130 when he beat that man. What's our man, the fighting marine, when Shakur beat him?
Jamel Herring, that was a fight before the Oscar
Yeah.
Valdez fight. Yeah.
Because that in a sense announced Shakur to the world as far as his skill set, how he just absolutely negated everything that Jamel Herring brought to the table. Everything. He literally could not do nothing against him. So, but like I said, Tank is a different beast. We know that. Tank has a higher skill set, and on top of that, the power is undeniable with Tank. We know that. So does Shakur have the ability to, like you guys said, play matador to the bull in that sense, and stay out of danger, and get a win? His skill set suggests that he can do that. But first, we got to get past these fights. But so biggest threat to Tank to me is still Frank Martin. I'm sorry, still.
Well, we'll definitely be seeing that here in a pretty much within 10 days there. So I'm like, hey, I mean, I'm like I said, I'm looking forward to it. I'm just kind of like, thrown off by these these odds in reference to Tank Davis, man. They really seem like they lean towards Tank that much, like he's that much of a favorite. Like I said, I mean, they a number of people feel like David Benavidez is a significant favorite against Kovacic on that day, and Subriel Matias and Leon Paro. They say Matias is a significant favorite in that particular fight. So it's like, I don't know, man. At least for me, I think it would be a little bit closer than that as far as like the odds. But as of right now, it seems like a significant number of people are leaning towards Tank Davis. Jay Pylon there says that he's picking Martin in this fight. I think he did mention that he was picking Frank Martin out there sometime back too. So he's sticking there with Frank Martin. And Adam Hurley says that he think Martin's a threat. Maybe I have to go through a couple more fights there with Frank Martin, but I've watched the bout that he had there against supposed the Ali Michelle Rivera over in Las Vegas a couple years ago, and that was like his best performance, like from round 1 to round 12, around the round by far, was against Michelle Rivera. We had his performances before that against Jackson Mariñez and Romero Duno. That was all in the same year. So he had a really good year there in 2022. Was just, having a one fight in 2023 against Artem Harutyunyan where, we kind of like had, some issues there, so to speak. Speaking of Artem Harutyunyan, of course, he is facing Shakur Stevenson on July 6th over in Newark. So, we'll see how Shakur Stevenson performs there against Artem Harutyunyan in that particular bout. It says Frank Matt Gomez says Frank looks like a welterweight. What is Frank's walk around weight? Man, I don't know. But in the press conference that happened last month, Tank kind of like said that Frank is he feels like he's too muscle bound there for his frame, and that he won't be able to, work his arms that well and be that fluid against Tank coming up in this fight next Saturday. So, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's around like I'd say 146, 145 or something like that, maybe, and then gets down to 135. But I don't know. Maybe he looks like what he was looking like there in that press conference. He might look like around like 152 or 153. Man, I don't know. So that's the thing there that we got to see on that. But
And
yeah,
is there a rehydration clause that take pose or what?
one way rematch. Yeah.
No, rehydration clause.
Oh, rehydration.
Yeah.
That was the thing that they were kind of like talking about there when the fight was kind of like announced. Yeah, I don't think that rehydration clause is there valid for this. So they don't really do that there. I don't think the WBA had put up that they're doing a 10-pound or 15-pound rehydration clause for a title fight. So yeah, I don't see if that's the case here. So, but I mean, we'll see how that fight goes, man. Like I said, it's going to be a real interesting fight. Like I said, if hey, Terrell, if I wasn't doing some Caribbean stuff that weekend, I probably would be over there in Las Vegas. But
hokey fish, right?
But yeah, that's definitely going to be a great card there on Amazon Prime pay-per-view. Of course, you got to have that David Benavidez versus Alexander Gvozdyk fight there as a co-feature bout. You got Gary Antoine Russell against Alberto Puello that's on there, and Carlos Adames versus Terrell Gausha on that pay-per-view card. Of course, they had chat there with Gary Antoine Russell that's on the YouTube page or YouTube channel. Y'all go ahead and check it out. So yeah. See, I pretty much like answered that for you there, Adam. Like I said, Benavidez versus Gvozdyk, right? You're gonna have Gary Antoine Russell against Alberto Puello. That fight was kind of like brought up for last year, but it didn't necessarily materialize last year. They finally having it this year, and with Carlos Adames, he's going to be defending the WBC middleweight championship against his. Like I said, man, it's it's gonna be a really good card. Like I said, man. So definitely looking forward to that. There's supposed to be a couple of other fights that are on that card. I'm trying to find the joints because it's supposed to be stuff that's on just like regular Amazon Prime. Let me see if I could. I'm trying to see if I can find it. But yeah, I'm not seeing it on here as of yet. I thought that Elijah Garcia was going to be on that card there for that, but yeah, I'm not seeing it here yet. So we'll probably get an update on that though.
Yeah, small note. I'm not a casual. I know that. We all know that. I didn't realize Gvozdyk was still fighting after who's that beat him down years ago? Beterbiev, right?
Beterbiev. Oh yeah, he had I think he was on the what is it? It wasn't March 30th. It was one card that I was at. He was part of. So I'm looking that up. He was it was the Canelo versus Charlo card last September. He was on that. But he only had like he was able to stop the dude in like 2 rounds, and it was like off TV there, so he had that win against was Isaac Rodriguez. But yeah, he only had he after that Beterbiev fight, he didn't fight for like almost 4 years.
Because who did he beat down before that? What's the guy name from Canada? Not Pascal, but
Adonis Stevenson.
Yeah, he beat him down, put him out.
Out. So yeah, he beat up Adonis Stevenson in that one, and then just eventually lost to Beterbiev in 2019.
Yeah, so because when they announced
so. Oh, and shout out to Emma Queen there of Casual's Corner in the building, man. There, when he responded to Adam Hurley, he says like Cepeda is a little bit too active, I guess. Yeah, man. Gvozdyk can box, man. He definitely can box. So I mean, it'll be a good little scrap between him and Benavidez. A couple of people I've chopped it up with says like he's going to be a real issue there for David Benavidez. But real quick there, of course, you have the interview of David Benavidez there. That's through Brunch Boxing. They did, I think, post it on YouTube. Either it's on YouTube or it's on Spotify. There for y'all to check out. That happened, sometime. I think it was Saturday or something like that. So, you'll be able to check that out for a conversation with David Benavidez. But that will be a good little scrap there as the co-feature bout for Tank Davis versus Frank Martin. That'll be at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas. There, so that's pretty much mostly what I got here for the midweek report. Pretty much about an hour and 30 minutes in. Big ups for the Box Academic and Terrell for joining in here for this conversation. And of course, you had a little bit of a guest appearance there from MVO earlier on this podcast. And shout out to everyone that has been listening on X and also on YouTube here through the YouTube channel. Like I said, once again, hit the like button to support the Boxing Source, and you'll be sure to check out the content on the YouTube channel and also through the website, theboxingsource.net. So you'll be able to catch more content here for the Boxing Source as well. Do have more that I have to post up from my interview with Elijah Pierce on the YouTube channel. So I do have one more segment of the interview that will be posted here on YouTube here later on. So definitely be on that. So y'all be able to check that out. Be sure to like, share the content, spread the word here as we get more content here from the Boxing Source. But with that being said, that is the midweek report. I'm out, y'all. Peace.